short. Fumbled at the 27. And recovered by Penn State, where it'll be first down and 10 for the Nittany Lions and McSorley, quarterback. Mark Jones alongside Dusty Dvorak. This kind of weather, you got to be married to the game to be serious and play. You ready to say I do?
You just got to be a little tough. I'm ready to say I do. Cold, rainy, it's football weather in late November.
Hey, Maryland looking for the all-important win that gets them bowl eligible. They've come close 2 times already.
They have. Last 2 games, lose by 2 against Indiana, 1 against Ohio State. They've been so close, it's been in their grasp. And today, to be able to get a victory, they're going to lean on their running back, Anthony McFarland, who's been an absolute star the last couple of weeks.
We'll see him on the next series. On the post, complete down to the 40-yard line. McSorley finds K.J. Hamler, the talented freshman, for the first down into Maryland territory, and a gain of 33.
Well, no surprise they go to K.J. Hamler, their go-to guy. They love to get him the football in space. You see him working out of the slot, deep middle of the field. Pass on time and on target from the senior, Trace McSorley.
Low snap, and he hands it off to Miles, still on his feet. Miles Sanders, inside the 20, still going. Sanders weaving all the way down to the 5.
Well, it's excellent blocking off the right side. The right tackle, Ryan Bates. Also, Mike Miranda in playing right guard. Big hole opens up, and the rest is all Miles Sanders. Look at the jump cut, the escapability. He gets into the open field, and you better not arm tackle this guy. He is big and physical and runs with great balance. Big time run by Miles Sanders as Penn State quickly inside the 5.
Boy, in 2 plays, already threatening to score. Sanders again between the tackles. This time, that surge not as prosperous, brought down at about the 3 by Byron Coward.
Such a big question coming into the year. How do you replace Saquon Barkley? Miles Sanders has been fantastic for this football team this season. Over 1,100 yards rushing on the ground, and he's a 3-down back. Catches it and blocks extremely well.
Second and goal. McSorley keeps it, and he will jog in for the touchdown. A room service. Four plays to pay dirt. 74 yards traversed. And McSorley with his 10th rushing touchdown of the season. Vinegar with the extra point knocks it through. And it's 7-0 Nittany Lions.
Well, it's an excellent read. Watch right here as they're going to read the outside defensive player. It's going to be Brooks coming off the edge. You see McSorley reads him. He's actually got a pass option over into the boundary, but he sees he can walk in to the end zone. Trace McSorley's done a little bit of everything. His decision-making is so good in this RPO run-pass option game that Penn State loves to run. And man, is he having a good start to this senior day for Trace McSorley. You heard Molly mention it from the onset. This game is the culmination of his career, and he wants to go out a winner as a Penn State quarterback, the all-time winningest quarterback in Penn State football history.
He has virtually rewritten the record book with respect to quarterbacks at Penn State. And he was recalling earlier this week the first time he ran out onto the field a little over 5 years ago against Akron to start his career off. Maryland going to get possession here from the 5. This is Leak, who's taken one back for a touchdown this year already. Had a 97-yard kickoff return earlier this year against Illinois. And now let's take a look at today's player spotlight, brought to you by Wrangler. And it's a guy who's been white hot for Maryland, Anthony McFarland. Look at those numbers the last 2 weeks, Dusty.
Well, he's a home run hitter, big play capability, speed, runs with violence, and he's tough to tackle. Jump cut, make you miss, you name it. Anthony McFarland's got a little bit of everything. And Ty Johnson, who was the starting running back, he's been banged up. And Anthony McFarland, he's made the most at his opportunity the last few weeks.
From the 26, 1st and 10, Maryland going to give you a lot of formations on the jet sweep. It's Jacobs with the nice little games. Maryland, we talked about the fact, Dusty, that they've lost 2 close games in a row. Last week against Ohio State, previous to that, Indiana, by a total of 3 points. You think they got to avoid not letting last week especially stay in their head?
Absolutely. You know, Matt Canada said he tried to focus on the positive. Guys, we're 1 play away from being able to win these games. We've just got to make those plays when they present themselves here this afternoon.
7-yard gain by Jacobs. 2nd and 3, Jones in motion. There's McFarland with his first touch. And McFarland picks up the first down out to the 38-yard line. McFarland, folks, eviscerated. He disemboweled that Ohio State Buckeye defense last week to the tune of 298 yards.
Big plays, chunk plays. He gets out in the open field, forget about it. You're not going to run him down. And we were talking with Matt Canada about him, and he said going back to the first day he saw him in spring practice, he knew they had something special in Anthony McFarland.
1st and 10, McFarland spins out of harm's way. And after weaving, falls down to the 44-yard line, picks up 6. There was a missed tackle on the play by Sharif Miller. That defensive front for Penn State is pretty good, too.
It's been fantastic. Yetur Gross-Matos, Sharif Miller, the leaders of that defensive line. Robert Windsor's played well. Kevin Givens, the entire front. They attack, they penetrate, and they create a lot of havoc along the line of scrimmage, which sets up for a great matchup because Maryland prides themselves up front with 4 seniors along their offensive line. That's where this game will be won or lost, down in the trenches between these 2 groups.
On 2nd and 4, Pigram runs out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Tyrell Pigram became the starter in wake of the Indiana game, and he has done a nice job. He was on fire last week against Ohio State. Didn't throw it a lot. He was just 6 of 13, but the ones that he did connect on, Dusty, were big hitters.
Throws a great deep ball down the field, and he's got some speed and young wide receivers to utilize those guys. Intermediate throws, he's inconsistent, but he's got excellent quickness and speed and the ability to make you miss with some of the quarterback run game.
Third and 5. Pigram downfield. Caught. Did he stay in bounds? They're going to say one official seemed to indicate incomplete. And then now they're going to give the catch to Jones, it appears. Great catch. Got in behind Castro Fields. Just as we were saying, Pigram has good accuracy.
Jayshon Jones, to see if he gets the foot in. Ooh, that's ever so close. I mean, oh man, that's right. I think it's definitely worth a look. They got to buzz down. And
the ruling on the field was a catch. That ruling is under review.
Placement of that football was fantastic by Tyrell Pigram. You see the concentration on the sidelines by Jayshon Jones. Wow. Is it a spectacular catch or is it a long incompletion? Stick around. We'll tell you on the other side.
Jayshon Jones' foot ruled out of bounds by the video replay official a moment ago. So it'll be 4th down and 5. And that a little bit of assistance from Coach Franklin. Said, Mr. Official, come on over in here. Look,
I can show you the cleat mark right here. It's right here. Come over here.
Just trying to help. There's the punt from Wade Lees. DeAndre Tompkins watches it bounce. Maryland going to try and down it. It'll stay out of the end zone. And there's a flag all the way back at the 46-yard line, though, on the 56-yard punt.
Illegal formation. Kicking team didn't have enough men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
They're going to do it all over again tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. Notre Dame, number 3, looks for an undefeated season and a berth in the college football playoff when they tackle old rival USC at the Coliseum. Like everything else, you can watch it live on the ESPN app from anywhere. The Irish and Trojans have split the last 4 meetings, with USC winning the last 2 at the Coliseum.
Winning, you're in for the Irish, right,
Simple.
Jonesy? That's simple.
Sometimes it's that simple, and what an upset today. Although upset is a relative term between Ohio and Michigan State. Ohio State and Michigan a little bit earlier. Big Ten play. Ball bounces all the way down to the. And now we got a little fracas down to the field as well. From the 14, 1st and 10.
Little shake up. They asked me what I think after watching Michigan go down, which I thought was a big upset. I thought Michigan would win today. And I think Georgia handling Georgia Tech, they'll move up to the 4 spot. Now remember, Alabama, Georgia play in the SEC title game. Oklahoma, I think, moves up to 5. Ohio State at 6. And if Alabama can take care of Georgia, opens the door for potentially Oklahoma to sneak in if they can beat Texas in a revenge game in the Big 12 championship next week.
Boy, we had a lot of fun watching that shootout last night between West Virginia and the Sooners. That pass incomplete to Hamler. I know as a defensive guy, you were cringing in your seat there in the lobby.
I was definitely happy to see my alma mater find a way to get a victory, but it was defense optional last night.
Timeout for an injured player.
Player shaking up down on the field. That's Ryan Bates, starting offensive lineman. Coach Franklin going to tend to his injured player. We're going to take a short break and come right back.
College football on ABC is presented by Jared. Dare to be devoted. And in part by Domino's and Coca-Cola. Hot Domino's pizza and ice-cold Coca-Cola. Order this perfect combination for game day.
Well, this 21 senior group decided to come to Penn State years ago at a difficult time, and they've accomplished some remarkable things. They came at a time when Coach Franklin was actually the 5th coach in just 27 months. And they have reestablished Penn State in so many positive ways. Dusty, what do you remember most about your senior day and the emotion involved?
Oh, man, just knowing that was the last time I was going to get a chance to play on my home field, right, in front of those fans that have supported you, and, a chance to represent your family, your school, right there on your home field, hugging my mama, giving her a kiss and a hug, and my father, and the emotions just kind of spill out, but you have to kind of harness them in. And remember, you got to focus on the task at hand and winning this game. The last thing you want to do is lose your final opportunity on your home field.
You don't want to go out like that. Incomplete, intended for Miles Sanders out of the backfield. Did you cry? Come on, man.
I wouldn't tell you.
It takes a real man to tell me if you're crying.
I could tell you.
Okay.
But you know what I have to do if that happens.
I know. We don't want that.
Just missed the wheel route on the side. Miles Sanders running here on the boundary. He was open, had his man beat. Trace McSorley just a bit too much on that football. Missed a great opportunity with his running back. 4th down and 6, and in the pundits, Blake Gillikin, averaging a little over 43 per on the season. Maryland looking for win number 6. This is Jacobs. Trying to get to the outside, but brought down at the 40-yard line. Hey, Matt, you didn't cry on any kind of senior day for you, did you? All right, Matt, back here. 9:29 to go. Maryland with his 2nd possession of the ball game. Anthony McFarland got a couple of touches on that first series, made the most of them. Here he is running into the boundary, and boy, that's going to be a loss of a couple of yards. Ros Matos with
with a nice tackle.
I just love the effort, the energy this guy plays with. He's a chase player. Watch him come from the backside. Just gets up the field. He's unblocked right down the line of scrimmage. He's got such a high motor. He plays at a different level, and he's still just starting to figure things out. Unbelievably productive. His 17.5 tackle for loss, and he's got 8 sacks on the year. It's been a disruptive force for this Penn State defensive line.
On the jet sweep, Ja'Shawn Jones might have gotten a yard on the play, so it's going to be 3rd down and long for Maryland.
Oruwariye, the senior cornerback, with a nice physical tackle coming up. He's got great size and length, so he's a good cover man. What I've noticed, we were here 2 weeks ago, he will come up and he will attack blockers and he will make tackles in the open space. Nice there on 2nd down.
He's one of those 21 seniors on the field for the final time at home here.
This is not a place Maryland wants to be. They needed to win early downs, 3rd and long. Now this Penn State rush can get there.
Pigram fires, got a man, caught all the way down to the 13-yard line. Brian Cobbs on the other end of it.
I like the pocket presence by Tyrell Pigram. Right, a little bit of pressure by Windsor in the middle. He steps up to his left and fires a dime down the field to an open target. Brian Cobbs gets behind the defense, and that pass is right where it needed to be. Big-time play on 3rd and long by Tyrell Pigram.
His team has come so close in the last couple of weeks to victory. Still waiting for that 6th win to make them bowl eligible. Jones in motion, takes it on the jet sweep and nowhere to go. Oruwariye making the tackle on the play.
A lot of perimeter plays going to have to be made by corners and safeties.
Folks, you can stream college football all season long on ESPN Plus, so start your free trial today by downloading the ESPN app or visiting ESPNplus.com.
Love that ESPN app, by the way.
Oh, man.
Lifesaver for us on the road.
All day on the phone, on the laptop, on the iPad. 2nd and 13. Pigram keeps it. Had a nice blocker out in front of him, makes it down to the 10-yard line, where he's tackled by Farmer. Well, Farmer, another one of those seniors playing his final game.
A quarterback counter there, design quarterback run game. Big Damian Prince, the right tackle, pulls and gets out in front with a key block. A nice gain on 2nd down, 3rd and manageable.
On the first series against Indiana a few games ago, to a man, his offensive line and his offensive teammates said, "Hey, Tyrell, Pig, we're with you. We got you 100. His team trying to rally behind him again. A lot of motion, a little too much.
Conquo got a little move a little early.
Yeah.
False start. Offense. Number 55. 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
They're going to call that against Derwin Gray, but Chigokwanko also moving a little early. Matt Canada, the interim head coach, has done a fabulous job in steering this program, this team through turbulent, tumultuous waters. Going back to the passing, the tragic mortality of Jordan McNair. Complete over the middle. Jones still on his feet and finally tackled at about the 10-yard line. That's Darrell Jones, one of 4 talented receivers that they have for the Terps. And that brings up a 4th down, and in comes the field goal unit led by Joseph Petrino.
They play 5 true freshmen at wide receiver. They got a lot of speed. You saw just a shallow crossing route. Blockers out in front. Nice job by the Penn State defense to rally up and make the tackle well short of the line to gain.
Pretty good numbers for Petrino on the season. Just 1 miss. And he makes it a 7-3 ball game with just under 5 minutes to go. Icy conditions, and We've seen motorcycle Molly. Now we got the meteorologist Molly to break it down for you.
Penn State owns a world-renowned program for meteorology and atmospheric science. 1 out of 4 meteorologists are graduates from this program. So in honor of that, I'm going to give my best meteorologist impression right now, as the weather has heavily impacted the State College area this year. And as you can see on our radar, there's a lot of precipitation coming into State College. It's a wintry mix of snow and rain today, as temperatures are around 30 degrees. And this has really infected the grass parking lots right outside of Beaver Stadium. People aren't able to park there, so they're not coming to the games as much. And James Franklin had a message for all the fans saying, don't let the weather and the parking stop you. We need you here today for our seniors. It is still wet down here, Jonesy, but how are the heaters treating you up there in the booth?
Molly, Dusty, and our toes are a little toasty right now, frankly. Thanks for asking.
I'm dry and warm, much better than Molly McGrath. Molly, you're the real MVP.
Nobody's second.
I'm sure. Jonesy has thin blood living down in Miami. You can see, though, this is a record-breaking year in terms of precipitation, and James Franklin told me they've been dealing with this all year long, and it has even affected our broadcast a little bit. We weren't able to have Skycam in this game because of the weather. And Jonesy, I know there's a problem with the bathrooms up there.
Well, the pipes have frozen and they are inoperable, so could be interesting. Slade out of the backfield makes the catch. As Ricky Slade makes a spirited run down the sideline, picks up 12 and moves the chains. There's a look at the current conditions. Feels like 29 or less if the wind blows strongly.
These guys were shirtless pregame, man.
Yeah.
This weather doesn't bother them.
Yeah, there's a show of machismo out there on the field. Little pressure coming from the outside defensively. McSorley fires incomplete, intended for Dotson.
Dusty, you mentioned the players were shirtless pregame. This is a couple hours before kick. You see the Penn State players walking out of the locker room, warming up on the field in 30-degree or less weather, shirtless, trying to show how Big Ten tough they can be. Maryland players then respond by taking their shirts off, and they're warming up shirtless. I talked to James Franklin about it. He said, our players have never done this before. I don't know who they're trying to impress.
I guess they waited until it went up a couple of degrees before Maryland took their shirts off. Slade runs it to the edge and brought down at about the 40. You ever do that?
That's that old thing. Anything you can do, I can do better, right? No one's going to show me up. I'm going to go take my shirt off. Me? I was a 300-pound defensive lineman. Nobody wanted to see me with my shirt off. Now,
Hands to the face. Defense number 59. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run.
you clearly didn't see me jogging around State College this morning shirtless in the elements, did you? We don't have any video of that? Okay.
300-pound
shirt.
300-pound shirtless lineman, Dusty Dvorak. Okay.
Yeah, see, that's what I would look like in college. Right. You don't want to see that.
All right.
I give it up to that guy, though.
And then we all have a little extra insulation, man. It feels good. Yours truly included. Under 4 minutes to go in the first. McSorley with plenty of time from the pocket. The pass appeared to be a little bit high, incomplete. Hamler couldn't get his feet in bounds, but gave it a great effort.
Yeah, KJ Hamler, he climbed the ladder, went up, and a great effort to get this football wide open along the boundary. Ooh, foot just out of bounds. Correct call by the official on the sidelines. That's when Trace McSorley wishes he could have back. KJ Hamler was all alone. Pass a tad bit high.
From the 43. McSorley hands it off to Slade. Ricky Slade picks up the first down for Penn State. So Slade and Sanders sharing the load running the football.
I'm going to tell you what, the right side of this offensive line, just watch them cave down. Big hole opens up. They're just going to get good movement. And you see Trace McSorley, they put that defensive end, MB Tanyi, in a bind, make him commit to the quarterback. They give it up the middle in the inside zone. Big hole was opened up, and a nice gain for the true freshman, Ricky Slade. Got a little more quickness than Miles Sanders, less size.
Here he is again, taking the handoff from McSorley. Been an interesting adjustment this year for the senior quarterback, Trace McSorley, playing his final home game. Coach Moorhead leaving for Mississippi State, the former offensive coordinator. McSorley's passing numbers are down a little bit this year, about 1,400 yards coming into the game today. but he has remained prolific.
He just finds a way to win. That's what he is, a winner. Whether it's with his head, his arm, his legs, whatever his team needs, he morphs into that and gets the job done.
Stevens has checked into the ball game. On the reverse, the backup quarterback takes it around the end and makes it down to the 20-yard line. So they snuck Tommy Stevens in there for a play, Dusty.
Big Tommy Stevens, 6'5", 240 pounds. He gets in short yardage situations. It goes some tool quarterback stuff. Run him on the sweep fake, the double reverse. I like whenever he's about to brace for contact, he can lower that shoulder and leans forward and typically gets those extra yards he needs.
We were here a couple of weeks ago in the game against Wisconsin. Saw Stevens get a bunch of snaps in that game. McSorley going to try and take off. Nobody close. Touchdown. His second of the afternoon. Strike opposed.
Well, it's good protection, nothing down the field, everything was covered. And one thing Trace McSorley has really improved upon this year is when there's nothing down the field, the pocket breaks, get what I can get. He takes it right up the middle, and he gets into the end zone for his second scoring touchdown of the day. What a start to this game for the senior, Trace McSorley. The final time he'll take the field at Beaver Stadium.
Vinegar with the extra point. Knocks it through. Von Leek brought down at about the 23. Let's go back to the studio. Well, we saw an altercation there and an altercation after the game between Florida State and Florida. Guess that's why they call it rivalry weekend. Pigram hands it off to McFarland. And McFarland picks up about 7 on the play. What was the key on that touchdown run, Dusty?
Well, the middle of the field's opened up. Watch they get in their pass rush lanes. You're going to have guys here, and it's going to open up the middle of the field. And the vision that you have from Trace McSorley. Go ahead, roll that one more time. As the note right there, boom. You see the vision up the field. Middle of the field opens up. Everyone's covered down the field. No one there in zone coverage in the middle. Trace McSorley sees that, takes advantage of it, and an easy walk-in touchdown for the senior.
We'll be seeing McSorley in the Reese's Senior Bowl. He and Oluwarie have accepted invitations to play in that game. Javon Leak with the run. And Dusty, what does the Senior Bowl appearance do for his stock moving forward?
Well, I think it's huge for a guy like Trace McSorley, right? Because he doesn't have the measurables, he doesn't have the huge arm, but he's a fantastic leader. He's got all the intangibles you look for, and he can really allow that to shine when he gets there to Mobile with those coaches. He sits down in meetings, he's in practice, everybody studies, everybody watches. For me, that's a perfect situation for Trace McSorley to try to, get that NFL stock going as high as it possibly can.
Pigram to pass, complete at the 41-yard line. That's Chig with the reception. Stopped up a little bit short of the first down at about the 45-yard line is where they'll spot it. Time winding down in the first quarter play. Penn State leading 14-3.
The thing to watch for with this Maryland offense. A lot of motions, a lot of shifts, unbalanced. They'll have 3 offensive linemen to one side. Then they'll have a tight end next to a guard on the opposite side. It really makes the defense have to adjust.
That's the end of the first quarter of play. Maryland will have the ball. As far as McSorley's concerned, you call him the IRS because he's taxing that defense right now, folks. Back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. That's 2. Welcome back, everyone. Get ready to learn something new with today's Aflac Game Fact. Now, Maryland is one of 2 teams in FBS with an interception in each of their games this season. Syracuse is the other. And boy, what an impressive performance and win today by Dino Baber's team. What a season they're having. As Javon Leak runs it between the tackles. Picks up about 7 on the play. How important for Maryland to get a score here in this early part of the second quarter?
They need an answer, right? I mean, they do, because it feels like Penn State offensively, they're moving the ball kind of at will right now, early on in this football game. And, you know, I was just going to mention, we just saw Javon Leak, extremely deep running back room for Maryland. It's been a huge savior for this Terrapins football team this year. Talking with Matt Canada, he just couldn't believe, you know, how deep that running back room is, to the point that he said he's been blessed to have a room that deep.
Well, this season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. Under the lights here at Penn State University, hosting Maryland on Senior Day. The Nittany Lions leading 14-3. Just underway in the second quarter. Mark Jones chopping it up with Dusty Dvorak and Molly McGrath down in the field. Another one of those talented running backs, Dusty, that you were alluding to before we went to break, is Javon Leak. Not feeling the absence that much of Ty Johnson.
No, and Ty Johnson is an absolute stud. He's a senior, and for his 4-year career, as we take a look at him there, he's got a calf injury that's hindered him the last several weeks, and so he hasn't been able to play, but it's been no problem with McFarland, with Tayon Fleet-Davis, Javon Leak. But this is a guy you're going to see playing on Sundays, ladies and gentlemen. 4-year career, over 7 yards a carry throughout his career. Hate to see him not be able to finish the season.
There's the jet sweep to McFarland. Eluded one tackler, but not the second one. Castro Fields bringing him down. Setting up a 3rd down now for Maryland.
Been really impressed with Penn State's corners tackling out on the perimeters. We mentioned a lot of jet sweeps, a lot of different runs that they run on the perimeter, which forces your cornerbacks to tackle. We've seen Oruwariye make a couple of tackles so far, and now we see Tariq Castro Fields make an excellent open field tackle. Brent Pry likes what he's seeing from his corners out there on the edge. Big key to this game.
3rd down and 4. Ingram fires off the hands of his receiver, Jayshon Jones. Boy, that should have been caught. They'd have had a 1st down, and it's 4th down instead.
Yeah, man, we saw him make that unbelievable catch where he got the toe out early in the game. This is a speed out. Ball a little bit thrown outside. That's a play that Jayshon Jones needs to come down with. Help out your quarterback, making a 2nd start here this season. He's got to be able to convert on a 3rd down in that situation.
Wade Lees is going to punt. DeAndre Tompkins back at his own 10-yard line. That rollout rugby-style punt. And Tompkins calls for the fair catch. Well, tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. Number 3 Notre Dame looks for an undefeated season at a berth in the college football playoff when they tug on an old rival, USC, at the Coliseum. Like everything else, folks, you can watch it live on the ESPN app from anywhere. The Irish and Trojans splitting the last 4 meetings, with USC winning the last 2 at the Coliseum. Who do you like tonight?
Notre Dame.
Easy?
I mean, I want to say easy, but I also thought Michigan was going to be able to go into Columbus, Ohio and get an easy victory today, and that did not happen at all. So
it was a little bit of a shocker by the margin.
I'll tell you this, Clay Helton needs it to be close.
Yes.
I think Clay Helton needs his team to step up and play well tonight.
As always, in the Los Angeles market, there's going to be speculation about relative job security when it comes to collegiate head coach.
Full start. Offense, number 52, half the distance to the goal. It's still first down.
This week's college football playoff ranking brought to you by Capital One. Notre Dame at number 3. Big one tonight.
How about that? 62-39. Wow. Very impressive win today by Ohio State.
Tell you what, some people might have been thinking Ohio State was vulnerable after that game last week against Maryland. Certainly not. As Sanders gives Penn State a little bit of room. And I had mentioned the job security of Coach Helton. There have been reports that Coach Franklin has been targeted by some of the administrators and higher-ups at USC. McSorley runs for the first down. Out near the 20-yard line. Coward making the tackle on the play, and after initially answering the question in a vague way early in the week, Coach Franklin came back and circled back and put some of that to rest temporarily, if nothing else.
Yeah, and you know, they still have a coach at USC. Let's remember that. Clay Helton has not gone anywhere, so I kind of feel bad even speculating on it. But some of the candidates that we've seen mentioned out there, and James Franklin, definitely one of those. But I guess my question would be, why would he want to leave Penn State? Well, why would he want to leave this place? His 5th year, he's got it going. They finished in the top 10 in back-to-back years. They're number 12 with a great opportunity to make it 3 straight January 6th bowl games.
Yeah.
I mean, why would he want to go to USC? I mean, I think he's got a great job right here where he's at. Penn State's the type of job, once you get there, you don't leave for other jobs. So a lot of people are speculating. I just don't see it. I buy James Franklin with what he said late in the week when he kind of dispelled those theories of him leaving for L.A.
Pass complete to Tompkins, and he is a Pennsylvania guy through and through, Coach Franklin. And with that completion, McSorley set a school record for pass completions career-wise with 694 as he continues to reauthor the school record book, surpassing and usurping Christian Hackenberg, who was the guy that he sat behind for a couple of years.
Just impressed with the versatility he brings to this football team. He's got the completions record, obviously, but what he's done as a runner throughout his career, and particularly this year, he's added another layer, another element to his game. It's really, really helped aid this offense.
Journey Brown in the backfield now. On second down, little pump fake by McSorley. Runs out of bounds after picking up about 2 yards. He had those defenders guessing with the pump fake. Trey Watson.
His pocket presence is just so much better. Watch him as he works in the pocket. Nothing's down the field. Pocket kind of collapsed on him. He gets out. Oh, and then he fakes Trey Watson, an outstanding linebacker, just to pick up a few more before stepping out of bounds.
Going to try and take off again, this time stopped up by Trey Watson, the transfer from Illinois. And he had some interesting comments, brings up a 4th down. Watson told us when we had a chance to speak and meet with him earlier that, you know, you find out what kind of people, you get to see how strong your guys are physically, emotionally every week when we play for Jordan. And he said Jordan doesn't get to play anymore. He's gone. But they have done a great job in honoring his memory and their play this year. A team that it could have easily let go of the rope. This is Jacobs on the return. They bring the memory of Jordan McNair everywhere. Emotionally, mentally, and physically.
College football presented by Jared on ABC is brought to you by Pacific Life. Experience the power of Pacific. At Ford, We build things we're proud of.
The sights from Penn State's Thanksgiving meal and celebration. And what a great Thanksgiving it was for all of us at ABC and our ESPN family. And I'm thankful for the fact that I've got a wonderful family. Sarah, Sophia, Glory, Shay, my mom and dad still with us. Great time. And every Saturday, thankful for the best seat in the house to call college football with so many talented people.
That's so true. You know, obviously thankful for my family, but man, I'm just thankful that I get an opportunity to do this, to go around the country, to meet all these great coaches of college football, to be in venues like this on game days, man. I love college football so much, and I'm just so thankful that I get this opportunity, man. It's awesome.
And guys, I'm so thankful for the unwavering support from Big Ten fans. I mean, you look out here at Penn State fans in Nittanyville, and they are, you know, weathering the storm through the cold and the wintry mix. Some of the best fans in the Big Ten. We've covered a bunch of those games this year.
Amen, Molly. 9:36 to go in the first half. Pigram hands it off. This time it's Javon Leak. And you know, you talk about being thankful and being grateful. This Maryland team has had a real sense of perspective this year and have a real great sense of resolve, being able to do what they've done this year. Frankly, folks, the fact that they've got 5 wins and we're here talking about them potentially being bowl eligible with a win this afternoon is an amazing feat. And Matt Canada has had a lot to do with keeping the focus on the players. On the jet sweep. Nice little gain that time by Turner. Let's go to the studio. Right, an 11-yard gain on that last play.
Be a huge win for Rutgers if they could find a way.
Penn State defeating Rutgers last week. Pigram, and wisely throws it out of bounds. Matt Canada has done, and there's a flag on the play. Matt Canada has done everything to deflect attention away from him and put it on his players who have shouldered a lot of burdens this year, different ones.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense number 48, 15-yard penalty, first down.
I really think it's been remarkable when you talk about the job Matt Canada's done to overtake such a difficult situation. And whether it be 5-6 weeks ago when we called the Maryland game, or it be this past week, all the way in between, he refuses to take any acknowledgement or any accomplishment for anything that's happened this year. It's always about his coaches. It's about his players and their ability to be resilient, to stick together, and be focused week in and week out. Matt Canada said he's unbelievably proud to be associated with this football team, and in my opinion, he has earned the right and deserves a legitimate chance to be the next head coach at Maryland.
On the jet sweep, that's Jones, stopped up by Gross-Matos.
Dusty and Mark, Anthony McFarland told me the first day Matt Canada was named interim head coach, he called a meeting with the team and vowed in a season full of distractions and tragedy he would do everything he could to shine the focus on the team and make it about them. And Canada even pulled McFarland aside one day and told him coaching is overrated because it's the players who make it all happen. And McFarland told me none of the players have been approached about their opinion on Matt Canada and the head coaching job, but you can tell that they really respect his selflessness and the job he's done this season.
Certainly, Molly, and the athletic director has already begun and enlisted a search committee. And you'd have to think that Canada will get a seat at the table during interviews.
Maryland, they're second.
Coach says there's so many different emotions and feelings, but yet when you look at the product on the field, those players of mine have played very hard to get. Hey, this season Taco Bell is celebrating student sections and passionate fans like the Nittany Lions of Penn State by awarding the best student section of the year. Go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see if your team made this week's rankings and to see how your school can compete. And that's a real student section, Dusty. When you got the headgear and no shirt, fearless.
That's how you do it here in State College.
Pigram underneath. Completes it to Jayshon Jones and brought down at the 33-yard line. Sets up a 3rd down and long for Maryland.
Nice open field tackle there by Ellis Brooks. One thing we've seen so far here early on in this game for Penn State. Quality job tackling in open space. Something you don't always see throughout college football these days. 3rd and long situation. We mentioned it off the top. This is something that Matt Canada and Maryland wanted to stay out of. I'd expect a shot here from Tyrell Pigram.
Here comes a little blitz. Pigram eludes the heat, but is brought down after a gain of about 2 by Kevin Givens, who was the first one to get there. So it's 4th down coming up for Maryland. They'll have to punt again, and the defensive coordinator right there, Brent Pry's crew, getting it done.
Yeah, Brent Pry's going to bring pressure. It's going to come from this side right here. We'll see the pressure show up. Tyrell Pigram, he's got nowhere to go with the football, so he just tries to step up. Nice job of the defensive tackle, Kevin Givens, shutting his rush down and making the tackle and getting his defense off the field. Quality series for Penn State's defense.
They came after the punt. They ran into the punter. Flags down back at the 21-yard line. Jonathan Sutherland ran into the punter, Wade Lees, right there. And this is definitely going against Penn State.
Running into the kicker. Receiving team number 26. That penalty is declined. 1st down.
This penalty of the 5-yard variety.
I think Matt Canada was pleading his case for the 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, get the 1st down with it. 6:01 to go. Matt Canada, former offensive coordinator at LSU most recently, came here as the offensive coordinator. Now the interim head coach. Two Maryland fans making the trip up here to Penn State.
That hat would look good on you, Jonesy.
You know I can rock anything, right?
Yeah.
With the pinstripes. McSorley's going to keep it and is stopped cold at the 30-yard line. Interesting story about McSorley, and it was fun to hear Coach Franklin talk about it when we met with him earlier this week. He had originally committed to Coach Franklin when Coach Franklin was the head coach at Vanderbilt. And then when Coach Franklin took the job at Penn State, there was a sort of cooling off period where a dead period where he was not allowed to speak with McSorley or other recruits until they were all cleared, the staff was, by the Human Resources Department. As McSorley steps up, made a great move and is stopped about a yard short of the 1st down. So Coach Franklin calls McSorley when the cooling off period ends. McSorley admittedly is a little bit mad and upset because he felt like he hadn't heard from the coach in a while, but they smoothed things over and he decided to decommit from Vandy and go to Penn State.
Yeah, this relationship between McSorley and Franklin goes way back. And McSorley believed and trusted in Franklin, followed him here, and it's paid huge dividends for both player and coach. And they've formed a special bond, a special relationship that will, live on for a long time between those two.
These two guys shared a special moment, one of many pregame. Guy that is one of the winningest quarterbacks in Penn State history, rewriting the record book. Our Todd Blackledge sent him a nice congratulatory tweet last week and breaking one of his records.
Franklin said, Trace McSorley's got a lot of records, right? He's all over the Penn State record book, but James Franklin had said that winning, that's the most important stat, right? Finding a way to win. Of all the other things that you're going to do, winning at the quarterback spot is the most important. And as we mentioned, Trace McSorley last week with that win they had over Rutgers made him the all-time winningest quarterback.
On 3rd and 1, they're going to pick up the first down. Miles Sanders out to the 45-yard line. We talked about him going to the Reese's Senior Bowl and that helping his NFL stock. But if he doesn't make it as an NFL player, I mean, being a good college football player is a good thing, right?
It's a great thing. Not a good thing. It's a great thing. There's nothing wrong with it either. I do think he'll get an opportunity in camp. I mean, he's going to have to, kind of like his entire career is going to be, right? It's going to be an uphill battle, and he's going to have to overcome the odds because the odds would say he's not going to make it. But say anyone that's followed Trace McSorley, to bet against him or count him out would probably be the wrong thing to do.
Yeah. His dad, Rich, played collegiate football at Richmond. 2nd down and 10. Taking a shot downfield. Caught at the 17-yard line. And now they're going to say incomplete by K.J. Hamler. It appeared as if he lost it when he hit the ground, but we'll take another look at this replay.
How about this throw and what I thought was a catch, double coverage, corner route, excellent throw. And K.J. Hamler unable to complete the process of the catch through the ground. Looked like he had it initially. He took a shot, and as he went down, that ball squirted free. Excellent throw by Trace McSorley.
A good call by the officials. It did come loose. Back at the 45. Maryland with a blitz, picked up well. McSorley showing that mobility. And a flag down at the 35-yard line in the secondary.
We're going to get defensive holding in the secondary, Jonesy.
Jahan Johnson, the intended receiver, number 5. McSorley moving pretty well on that right knee that was injured in that Wisconsin game and was injured actually before that.
Defense number 7. 10-yard penalty. That's an automatic first down.
That's going to go against Tino Ellis.
And Maryland heated up Trace McSorley. They brought inside pressure. It was Trey Watson on the blitz. Trace McSorley did a nice job buying himself some time, moving to the near boundary and down the field. Got the defensive holding penalty.
And now from the 45, Dusty, they bring in Tommy Stevens, the backup quarterback. He's in the slot to the top of your field. There is number 2. They come with a little trickery on this play. Out pattern complete at the 40-yard line. That's Daniel George, made a nice move. And picks up the first down. George, the true freshman from Washington, D.C.
A lot of extra effort today from the Penn State Nittany Lions as the true freshman goes up top to fight for some extra yards.
Stevens still in the ball game.
Oh, and empty once again. They like to run the quarterback draw in these situations. Watch for McSorley.
Throws it up for Stevens. Stevens broke in. The pass went out. And they're going to say it's an well, they're going to talk about it first. Yes, it is an interception. Antoine Richardson. They tried to find Stevens, and he cut it upfield.
How about the pressure right here by Trey Watson? He's going to force the bad throw. He's untouched. And McSorley just kind of flings it and flicks it outside. I would say this is a problem with a quarterback trying to play wide receiver who doesn't have wide receiver skills, didn't even realize the ball was coming. And a fantastic play over on the sidelines. Well, the ruling on the field was overturned. This was not an interception. Richardson steps out of bounds. Excellent job once again by our camera crew capturing that. And it's 2nd down and 10 for Penn State as Antoine Richardson was pleading his case.
Yeah.
But you know what they say, the eye in the sky don't lie.
Not that time.
He was clearly out of bounds.
Maryland defensively leads the FBS with 18 picks coming into the game. McSorley finds a man over the middle. That's Tompkins. And he picks up the first down. Another one of those 21 seniors playing their final game. He's one that came under Bill O'Brien, the previous coach, to Coach Franklin.
RPO scheme there. Trace McSorley, as the linebackers get sucked up playing the run, fits it into the senior DeAndre Tompkins over the middle for a nice pickup.
First and goal on the 21-yard pickup. McSorley into the end zone, and he overshoots Hamler. Well, folks, kick off your Week 12 with NFL Sunday Countdown before facing Aaron Rodgers on Sunday. The Vikings safety Harrison Smith going one-on-one with Darren Woodson, the all-pro safety with who Smith has modeled his game after, and how a special message of hope and humility by Panthers quarterback Cam Newton inspired a family when they needed that message most. Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. 10th play of this drive coming up for Penn State. Second and goal. And a great tackle from the corner by number 25, Brooks. Came in and upended Miles Sanders. And it's third and goal.
Well, this guy plays much bigger than what he is. He's going to come in from out of your screen. You can't see him right now, but he's going to shoot in off the edge and make a big-time play. Antoine Brooks, excellent blitzer off the edge, plays much bigger than what he is. I mean, for a guy that's only 210 pounds, he flat out gets after it at the line of scrimmage, attacks blocks, bone-crushing hits.
Maryland running a fire drill on defense, trying to get some personnel in.
Because Penn State, they changed their personnel, therefore you have to allow the defense to do the same.
After all that, Penn State going to call timeout.
Penn State, they're first. That will be a 30-second timeout.
So, Dusty, they're allowed to get their defense on the field by rule, right?
If you change personnel. Right. If you change personnel, you have to allow the defense the opportunity to change their personnel as well. See the referee standing here, talking with Trace McSorley. And once they get their personnel on the field, then they have the opportunity to snap the football.
And after all that, Coach Franklin calling one of their timeouts.
Because the play clock was all the way down under 5.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When the officials allow for you to change your personnel, they don't stop the play clock.
Third and goal for the Nittany Lions.
One guy we haven't seen.
Don't forget, coming up, sorry, Dusty, Capital One halftime report at the end of the half. Behind that slot receiver, they go to the other side. Up top to the outside receiver, Dotson. And it's fourth and goal coming up, so a little bit of a win that time for the Terp defense.
Absolutely, bend but don't break. They went for Jahan Dotson, the talented true freshman, in the corner of the end zone. McSorley just overshot him, threw it to the pylon. I thought they'd go to their tight end, Pat Freiermuth, who we've not seen get a catch yet so far. An outstanding young tight end, both as a blocker and as a receiver, and he's been a big red zone weapon so far this season for Penn State, but he didn't get a sniff on that sequence.
Going to attempt this field goal from 25 yards out. And he drills it through to give them a 14-point lead with 2:06 to go in the first half. Well, the field here pretty respectable considering the circumstances, and thinking of a story down in Alabama, they used a lot of different resources to dry out their field today using helicopters, Dusty.
Really?
Hovering over the field to dry it out.
I didn't see any helicopters here, but I know that they had the field covered up until a couple hours prior to kick.
Yeah.
And I'm with you, though. Wind blowers, there's been a ton of precipitation come down, not just today, but as we showed you the graphic earlier, it's been a very, very wet fall here in Happy Valley, and the field looks great.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I thought we may have a mud pit out there today, but it's held up extremely well.
There's a look at the record precipitation that they've had. And this is going back a while, going back several months, even into the late part of the summer. The wettest year on record. Penn State looking for their 9th win. Javon Leak on the kickoff return. Takes it out to the 25-yard line where they'll start first down and 10 with 2:01 to go in the first half. We haven't seen the fireworks. Not those kind of fireworks. But talking about the fireworks from Anthony McFarland that we saw last week in their game against Ohio State, and previous to that, the game against Indiana. What has this Penn State defense done to keep him in check?
Been extremely gap sound, right? They're a one-gap defense. They utilize their speed, their quickness, and they get up the field and penetrate. Already 5 tackles for loss here in this first half, and you know, it's a zone scheme offense, misdirection offense, and if you're gap sound, you're going to be able to limit what Maryland's able to do. And so far this first half, Penn State been extremely gap sound.
Yeah, McFarland just 5 rushes for 15 yards. Pigram pulls the trigger, complete. Boy, that's a good-looking throw, Dusty, out to the 38 to Jacobs at the other end of that rope. They move the chains with 1:55 to go.
On time and on target. Pass was delivered right as Jones was getting out of his break on the near sidelines.
13-yard gain on the play. Pigram making just his 2nd start of the season. Steps up in the pocket. Gets out of trouble and downfield. Caught and now dropped by Demas. Oh, he had it in his hands and let it go. Boy, they can't afford to have drops. Their margin of error is so slim.
No, the true freshman, Dante Demas, big catch radius, 6'4". He went up. He's got to secure that catch and help out his quarterback, who played Houdini on the front side of that play. Got out of a really good pass rush. The Wolves were caving in on him, and he was able to get outside the pocket and locate his big receiver down the sideline. And that's just a drop by Demas, one that he needs to be able to come up with.
He was working against Oluwario. Second and 10. Catch made, and he's got some blockers in front of him. Jacobs down to the 45-yard line with 1:37 to go. A 17-yard pickup and another first down.
That's an excellent play call by Matt Canada. All-out blitz by Penn State. They had the screen set up. Pass was actually high. Jones went up and got it, and the offensive lineman got out in front for a nice pickup.
And the handoff, McFarland dragged down. A tackle for loss, another one by Gross-Matos. He has been the breakout star this year for Penn State.
He's been fantastic, especially here down the stretch, playing on the other side of the football. Watch him here, just come off the edge. Just gets up the field. That's what I talked about. Guys are going to have to tackle out in space.
And Pigram sacked by Givens this time. Boy, those guys, those 4 guys on the defensive line get some heat on the quarterback and penetration too. And a timeout called by Maryland. With 52 seconds to play in the half, let's go back to the studio. Boy, close game. Hey, guess the helicopter's working pretty good, drying out that field down there.
Team that comes in averaging 7.7 tackles for loss per game. They've already got 7 here in this first half against Maryland. And the story of the game so far for them defensively. When you go back and you look at what Iowa was able to do, Michigan State was able to do against this Maryland offense, very similar. Able to play on the other side of the football, secure their gaps, and tackle well in open space. And
they've had some good ones here at Penn State. 3rd and 15, going back to the Joe Paterno era.
Now this defensive line, 3rd and 15, they can pin their ears back and just come after the quarterback, something they do as well as anybody in college football.
Pigram incomplete at the 39. Maryland looking for a flag. Jayshon Jones, the intended receiver on the play. It was the pass from Pigram to Jones that never quite made it in the end zone on the 2-point conversion attempt last week against Ohio State that perhaps some of them are still thinking about. Might be a little bit of a residual, who knows? But they came oh so close to defeating the Buckeyes. Fourth punt of the afternoon for Wade Lees. DeAndre Tompkins back deep. Fair catch called at the 15 by Tompkins.
I know it's sometimes easier said than done, but Matt Canada, Maryland has to fight last week's loss to affect them and, be a negative impact on this game as well. Yeah, you can look at that final play, that 2-point conversion, and could Pig have thrown a better pass? Yeah, could he have maybe ran it in? Yeah, potentially so. But, man, he made a lot of other good plays throughout the course of that game. So that was one of Matt Canada's, one thing he really wanted to get across to the team. It's not one play that we win or we lose a game on. There was a lot of different opportunities out there, and a lot of different times we weren't able to make the play we needed to give ourselves an opportunity to win.
From the 15. Handoff is to Brown. And Brown picks up about 8 for Penn State. Penn State with a couple of timeouts remaining.
They get a first down here. We may see them getting even quicker mode to try to make something happen.
Sorley. Incomplete. Dropped by Tompkins. With 19 seconds to go.
He started to run before he ever had the football. Kind of seems as if maybe these slick conditions, the precipitation coming down has affected some of these pass catchers.
We're not lying. It's coming down, folks.
Several drops throughout the course of the day on both sides.
3rd and short. 2 to go and a first down by Brown with 14 seconds to go. Penn State 30 minutes away from win number 9. And now a timeout called with 11 seconds to go here in the first half of play. Coach Franklin spoke with us a little bit earlier this week when we met with him, Dusty, and I asked him about the tipping point. Sacked. As we check in with Molly down in the field, what did Coach Canada have to say?
Well, Mark, Matt Canada refused to use the wetness of the field as an excuse for his team. He said those drops and those other things that happened in the first half where they weren't able to find success were just missed opportunities. He's expecting more from them, and he did stress that they need to run the ball, and he said they need to lean on Tyrell Pigram in this second half. He said he needs to have a fantastic second half if we want to have a chance of winning this game.
Molly, I just want to know if you've got a second half forecast for us.
The field is wet, but right now it is not raining, Mark.
Okay. Oh, it stopped. Wow. 2nd down and 11. Nowhere to go. That Penn State defense intransigent in the middle. Sharif Miller with the hit on Leak.
Well, the defense for Penn State's been fantastic, playing the other side of the football, tackling well, out in space, corners, defensive ends, anyone out on an edge has really done a nice job getting these Maryland ball carriers to the ground as we see Yetur Gross-Matos with a couple of his 3 tackles for loss in that opening half. And how does Penn State start the second? A sack on first down, a tackle for loss on second, set up 3rd and long.
Pigram has a little bit of time here. Going to tuck it under and try and run, but is stopped up 5 yards short of the first down. Kind of timidly stepped out of bounds short, Dusty. So it'll be 4th down now for the Terps, and in comes Wade Lees to punt on the 8-yard gain.
I understand a smaller quarterback seeing a couple of defenders and trying to make a business decision and step out, but man, you got to get 5 yards and your team needs you. You need a spark. Molly mentioned it. Tyrell Pigram's got to be huge, and he just kind of took the easy way out. He was pointing to his wide receiver, Okonkwo, to give him a block out in front, but quick 3 and out.
You said it right the first time. Business decision. Sometimes that's a part of it, too. As the ball rolls down to the 15, now 14-yard line, we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Some of the cogent points and pertinent points of the ball game so far as we get started here in the 3rd quarter. McSorley with a couple of rushing touchdowns. continuing to re-author the Penn State record book with respect to quarterbacks. Nittany Lions with the edge and yardage as well.
Matt Canada was just talking to Tyrell Pigram right now when he came off the field. He said, you've got to trust the system. We need to win this game, and we need you to help us win it. We need you to do your job out here. So obviously some strong words from his coach.
Nice report there, Molly. Pass complete to Hamler, brought down at the 10-yard line by Ravon Davis. It'll be second down and long.
Like the aggressiveness there by the cornerback, Ravon Davis. Just throw the football out into the flat, little screen to the wide receiver. That's where KJ Hamler is so effective.
Davis had that pick 6 last week against Ohio State. Second down and 12. McSorley down the middle of the field, complete to number 5, Jahan Dotson. Working against Tino Ellis, and that's a first down for Penn State on the 22-yard gain.
Play action pass. The protection is where it starts. Plenty of time for Trace McSorley to navigate, and it's a good route by Jahan Dotson. He wins at the line of scrimmage with an inside release and open in the middle of the field.
McSorley hands it off to Sanders with nowhere to go, and then made something out of nothing out to the 40-yard line. Got about 6 on the play.
He'd make you miss in a phone booth.
I'll tell you what. He made a couple of cuts and came out of the pack.
Starts and stops very, very well.
We saw him gain 159 yards in that game we were here against Wisconsin. And here he picks up the first down and then some into Maryland territory. We had the feeling that week against the Badgers defense that Sanders might have gotten a little tired of people talking about Jonathan Taylor so much, us included. And he ran in a very spirited, motivated way. And is doing so here today, too. Look at those numbers.
I don't think it's just that. I think it's also everybody reminding him that Saquon Barkley used to play here. He wants to be like, forget him.
Oh, that guy.
I'm here right now.
Here's another one of those talented running backs, Ricky Slade. See where they spot this. He's close to another Penn State first down.
Yeah, and Slade, you know, he's a smaller back. He's quick, he's shifty. You see him get there to the perimeter. But he's only 5'9", about 200 pounds, well compact, but different style of runner than Miles Sanders.
Second down and 1. Slade again picks up the first down. Down to the 35-yard line, picked up 5. And what about that, Dusty? We saw what happened to Louisville this year without Lamar Jackson. We had them several weeks ago. The crater-like void that's left in leadership and productivity and skill can be daunting, but Penn State doesn't seem to have suffered that much from it this year.
No, because James Franklin's got a fantastic roster, right? He's got a roster with depth at different positions. And there's Slade once again in the open field making defenders miss. Nice start to the second half on the ground from this Penn State Nittany Lion offense. But, you know, we're kind of talking about it. Look at how many young, talented players this Penn State football team has on both sides of the ball. As we mentioned, this is senior day, only 6 senior starters on this football team. So I think this is a much different situation here in State College than what Bobby Petrino had at Louisville.
Sanders back in the ball game at running back, takes the handoff. Sanders still on his feet, and boy, Penn State partner just rolling up their sleeves, and Coach Franklin saying, let's play a little smash ball inside the red zone. And Sanders a little shaken up.
As he was coming down, he kind of got spun around and took a shot to the back of the head. I think Trey Watson.
Sanders averaging over 100 yards, or right at 100 yards per game on the ground this year. 2nd and 4, time onto the field. We'll be right back.
Well, when we left, Miles Sanders was down on the ground, and since we've come back, 33 there, Trey Watson, the senior linebacker from Maryland, has now been ejected for targeting. As you can see, as Miles Sanders was spun to his backside, Trey Watson comes in and Uses the crown of the helmet and hits him in the back of the head, and he's now been ejected. And this is a big loss for this Maryland defense. Senior linebacker leads this team with 110 tackles, also 5 interceptions. Been such a key piece this Maryland defense all year. He will be severely missed the rest of this half.
First and goal. Slade, great spin, touchdown!
Well, no Trey Watson at linebacker, and it didn't take long for Penn State to cash in. Ricky Slade, the true freshman, it's an inside zone. Look at the cut. He sees a little bit of daylight, accelerates through the hole, a little bit of spin move, gives him the sauce as he takes into the end zone, and they're dancing over on the sidelines.
Oh, sometimes you got to shake what your mama gave you, and that's what he did. 9:10 to go, and Penn State starting to take control of this now. Up by 3 touchdowns. Gotta love those unique celebrations on the sidelines by the Nittany Lions. They're thinking about winning. And speaking of dancing, we'll have more of that after this.
College football presented by Jared on ABC is brought to you by Mazda, Feel Alive, and Jiffy Lube. You can do more in a jiffy.
You know, in traversing the college football landscape, we have come across so many great creameries that serve fantastic ice cream. That was Michigan State. We saw Iowa City where they mix in the pie with the ice cream. That's Penn State with the sprinkles, and you're not allowed to mix the colors. That's somewhat of a code violation, right?
I'll tell you what a violation is.
What?
All these unbelievable ice cream places we've been to this year, and I haven't had one.
Wow.
What's up with that?
Well, one of us has to have the discipline on the crew, right?
Ain't got to be me. Defensive lineman, man.
On the return, this is Lewis still on his feet. And tackled out beyond the 30. And the Penn State defense coming onto the field. Nick Scott, one of those key pieces. And you know, this Penn State squad does so many great things off the football field in terms of giving their time and their efforts to raise money for great causes. One of the causes of this thon that raised money for rare childhood cancer research and trying to find a cure. 46 hours of dancing. He was on the floor for 46 hours. No sitting, no sleeping. I mean, you can't even sit to tie your shoes. Burned over 20,000 calories. And a loss of 1 on the play.
Yeah, and Mark, Nick Scott told us it was the hardest thing he's ever done in his life, harder than any workout or conditioning drills. He brought 6 pairs of shoes with different insoles, but he said he was still in pain at the end of the 46 hours. And then once he got home, he said he slept for 17 hours straight.
Wow. Great effort by the senior safety. Came to school here as a 185-pound running back and now a key member of that defense, one of the best defenses in the conference. You'd have to spin some very good music to keep me on my feet that long. This is Leak, about 3 yards short of the first down. But that thon, one of the better activities and fundraisers around the Penn State football team in the area. 21,000 calories, Dusty.
I could use that right now after all this Thanksgiving eating I've done the last several days. I just was really impressed with him as a young man. Extremely well spoken, and you know, just to listen to these coaches talk about what he does. You know, James Franklin said he's an energy guy. He lights up every room, makes meetings fun. He said he's invaluable to this football team. Former special teams captain, now starter at safety as a senior. He's had quite the career here at Penn State.
Big one's pass incomplete. So Scott's defense will get off the field with 4th down coming up. And when we had a chance to ask him about his GPA, he was very demure and modest about revealing it to us. And You know, when your father is a Harvard professor like his is, you might want to keep that on the down low a little bit,
I'd be
right?
keeping my grades to myself, too. Anything less than a 4.0 is...
Yeah. Resubmit that paper, right?
That's right.
7.5 minutes to go in the third. Line drive punt. Gonna bounce out of bounds in front of KJ Hamler right around the 22-yard line. Well, tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. Number 3 Notre Dame looks for an undefeated season and a berth in the college football playoff when they take on an old rival, USC, at the Coliseum. Like everything else, you can watch it live on the ESPN app from anywhere. They've split the last 4 meetings, USC winning the last 2 at the Coliseum. You think about some of the great names that have played in that rivalry.
Win and you're in. Notre Dame Fighting Irish, their final time. No championship game as an independent.
Miles Sanders picking up a little over a yard, tackled by Lewis.
That last drive by Penn State, they had the one pass play over the middle on run pass option, but man, they just, as you said, partner, rolled their sleeves up. This offensive line really getting good push, and whether it's Sanders or Slade in the backfield, productive yards on the ground.
McSorley, backside pressure and sacked. Back of the 17-yard line by Chammy. The true freshman from Burtonsville, Maryland, makes the sack.
And they like him. He can really rush the passer coming off the edge. We'll see him working right here. He's just going to beat the left tackle, Will Fries. Beats him with gets that rip up under, swats the hands, rips. Trace McSorley with nowhere to go. Nice sack for the freshman.
So it's a 3rd and 15. They go empty formation. McSorley on a predetermined run. Broke a tackle and got the first down at the 35-yard line. Just shy of it. Took a little bit of a hit there, too, picking up 17 yards.
Well, if there's one word that describes Trace McSorley, it's toughness. The senior needs 15 to get the first, head down, and he runs over the safety to get the first down and move the chains. Design quarterback run play on 3rd and 15. Tackle pulls, big hole off the right side.
Approaching becoming the all-time leading rushing quarterback at Penn State. This time it's Miles for a few yards. You know, McSorley uses, as he closes in on Michael Robinson's record, he uses everything for motivation. I remember him telling me a story about being in a taxi cab after losing to USC in the bowl game a couple of years ago. The taxi cab driver didn't know who it was in the back of his car and said, "Do you imagine what was that Penn State quarterback trying to do last night when he threw the interception?" McSorley said, "I thought he was just trying to make a play, just like Sanders is making a play." The ball came loose, and they're going to say it's a fumble. Maryland ball. Richardson recovers it. So Maryland trying to stay alive, the beneficiary of a turnover. Back after this.
Want to stay up to date? Hey Siri, show me college football scores.
You know, that actually works, folks. Did it a moment ago during the commercial. And some big scores and a big play a moment ago. The fumble here by Sanders. Punched out. And Maryland trying to stay alive here.
Excellent job by Rayvon Davis punching that football loose.
That pass incomplete. His arm was coming forward. Pigram was hit by Cam Brown as he was releasing it.
They brought pressure there. Jan Johnson, Cam Brown, both linebackers come on a blitz. As they get home, big hit on Tyrell Pigram. See Cam Brown shake loose, get a big hit on Tyrell Pigram. Gets the sack fumble.
2nd down and 14. Pigram has taken some shots today. 5'11" sophomore out of Birmingham, Alabama, former Alabama Player of the Year in high school. Came to Maryland because they promised him he could play quarterback. Not DB or wide receiver. Completes this to Jay-Sean Jones. Stays on his feet and reaching out close to the first down. Let's see where they spot this with 5:04 to go.
Jay-Sean Jones a little slippery over there on the sidelines, making guys miss. Ooh, I like that. A little icky, make you miss again. And fighting almost get enough for a first down. That's a talented true freshman in Jay-Sean Jones. What a start to the season he had, where he ran a touchdown, caught a touchdown, and threw a touchdown in his first game against Texas.
3rd and short. They run it, and they're going to pick up the first down. That's Fleet Davis. And still a very quiet night for Anthony McFarland. Running back from Maryland, the freshman from Hyattsville. He was well below his average from the last couple of weeks. Just 6 rushes for a total of 12 yards for Anthony McFarland. That's revealing.
Over 500 in the last 2 coming into today. Speaks to that Penn State defense, that front, the job they've done today.
Pigram completed the 41. Nice straight arm by Cobbs, and Cobbs picks up the first down. Our Week 12 Monday Night Football matchup, a big one in the AFC South. The first place Texans have won 7 straight, taking on the second place Titans. 8:15 Eastern, 5:15 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and available on ESPN app also, so you can watch the game anywhere. Wow, what a hit by Sharif Miller. He brought some smoke on that play.
Well, Sharif Miller, the leader of that defensive line, he's been playing some great football. Watch him attack this block. Actually, the blocker kind of avoided him, and he makes the big hit on the little shovel pass. Sharif Miller, and he's put together a fantastic junior season. Will become the leader. He's the old head now in that defensive line room.
Under 3 minutes to go in the 3rd. Maryland desperately needing a score. Big one fires complete. At the 44-yard line, it's Dante Demas, one of those 4 talented freshman receivers.
Demas got great size, 6'4", 202. Nice job on the slant.
Picked up 6 on the play, 3rd and 4. Pigram tore his ACL a season ago. Been through a lot of adversity. His teammates lifting him up after he was really depressed about that last incompletion that would have won the game against Ohio State. To a man, they told him they still believe in him. They need to convert here on 3rd and 4. Pass complete underneath. First down catch and run by Darryl Jones. And then some inside the 20. They're going to spot it at about the 18-yard line. So Maryland marching now.
Well, they brought the blitz, right? You're going to see a blitz here come by right here, and it's going to open up the middle of the field as we're going to see Darryl Jones come across on the shallow crosser. Nobody's there. And Darryl Jones gets a nice pickup after the catch.
Reed making the tackle on the play on Javon Leak. It'll be 2nd down. Boy, Dusty, when you watch a game like we did last night, West Virginia, Oklahoma, and then in stark contrast, we got 24 points and 3 points. Big 10 football, Big 12 football, weather, a big factor as well.
It's almost like 2 different sports at times, isn't it?
Yeah.
I will say, you talk about the bad Big 12 defenses, great offenses, and same in this league. There's some great defense in this league, and there's some great offense as well.
On the jet sweep, nowhere to go. Gross Matos making the tackle on the play.
He's been a one-man wrecking crew on those sweeps today. I mean, he sets that edge so well and does not allow the runner to get outside of him. Watch him set the edge up top. Right there. He sets it, and then he makes the play on the outside on DJ Turner. I believe that's his 4th tackle for loss of the day. I thought coming into this game, the defensive ends would be able to have a great impact on what Maryland does offensively, and man, have they ever.
3rd and 15. Pigram tried to make a move, got collared, and brought down right around the 15-yard line by Cam Brown. Almost decapitated him. Wow. And the clock will wind down on the 3rd quarter, which leaves us with 15 minutes to go. 15 minutes to go for 21 seniors to play their last home game for Penn State. And Maryland looking for that 6th win. We'll be back after this message and a word for our ABC stations. Welcome back, everyone, to College Football on ABC, presented by Jared. As we get ready for the start of the 4th quarter, 24-3, Penn State leading. And what do a Nittany Lion and a Terp have in common? A little game of patty cake. Little mascot love.
Can appreciate the patty cake. I'm trying to figure out what Matt Canada's doing kicking a field goal here.
Wow, are they
They're down
really
3 touchdowns with a quarter to play.
This one from 31. Petrino. And he missed it indecorously and unceremoniously on 4th down. They go for a field goal and miss. Wow.
I just don't see how you don't go for it regardless. And Petrino's been great this year, 12 of 13 on the year, but you're down 3 touchdowns. You kick a field goal, you're still down 3 scores.
Yeah.
I don't.
And more bad news as Anthony McFarland, the team's best running back to date, is leaving the field. Our Molly McGrath reporting during the last commercial break that he was in the tent being attended to by the team's medical staff and now heading into the locker room. They also lost Trey Watson, their starting linebacker, to a targeting penalty earlier in the game. So 2 key pieces missing for Maryland in a steep incline to ascend. Down 24-3 with 14:34 to go in the 4th quarter. Looking for the 6th win of the season. Trying to become desperately bowl eligible. McSorley competes it to his tight end, Freiermuth. He's a big piece that hasn't touched the ball much this afternoon. As we see who can do more in a jiffy, brought to you by Jiffy Lube.
Well, it was the true freshman Ricky Slade on this 2nd-half touchdown drive. They went to him early and often. Saw the quickness, the cutability. Look at this right down the middle. Excellent blocking up front by Mike Miranda, Connor McGovern, Steven Gonzalez, all in the interior of that Penn State offensive line.
22-yard gain on that last play. Brown in the backfield, little play action. McSorley downfield in the middle and caught by Juwan Johnson. 1st down, Penn State.
Well, it's all about the protection. That took a long time to get created down the football field, but you're going to see Juwan Johnson, who's been injured lately, on the outside receiver. He's going to run a post. You had Freiermuth running a corner. They cross, and that ball is delivered on time and on target. Excellent throw by Trace McSorley to Juwan Johnson.
Picked up 38 on the play. This is Brown running over the left side of that offensive line. Fries and Gonzalez. And you wonder about the fitness level at this point of the game by that Maryland defense. They have been on the field a lot today, and that Penn State offense, that ground game in particular in the 2nd half, has held on to the football.
That offensive line has been pounding and pounding and pounding away. It's cold. They're down. And yeah, this Maryland defense, they look tired. They look a little beat up.
Johnson again picks up another 1st down. Juwan Johnson, we mentioned the fact that he missed both the Wisconsin game we did a couple of weeks ago and the week afterwards against Rutgers, but back in full effect, and that gives McSorley a tall, lanky 6'4" target.
Great size. Played a lot of football here at Penn State. Obviously, Trace McSorley glad to have his receiver back.
First and goal. McSorley in the end zone. Touchdown, Friarmuth. That's his 7th touchdown of the season.
Such a red zone target. I mentioned it earlier. They're in the red area. They hadn't gone to him. And here on this drive, the true freshman gets a couple of grabs. Bright future for Pat Friarmuth. Very talented tight end here for Penn State.
Vinegar with the extra point, and it's 31-3. Penn State closing on its 9th win of the season.
We talked about the special bond between senior quarterback Trace McSorley and his head coach James Franklin, and you see pure joy on the face of both coach and quarterback as they have a big lead here in Happy Valley, 31-3, as we get into the fourth quarter, Jonesy.
Yeah, that relationship goes beyond the two of them. It extends to the McSorley family. But Franklin speaking glowingly of mom and dad McSorley, the sister that babysits Franklin's kids occasionally. Kickoff out to the 28-yard line. Well, tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. Number 3 Notre Dame looking for an undefeated season and a berth in the college football playoff, taking on old rival USC at the Coliseum. Like everything else, you can watch it live on the ESPN app from anywhere. I'm old enough to remember guys like Charles White, Anthony Davis running all over Notre Dame way back.
I remember the Bush-Push game.
Yes, yeah.
Now that's just commonplace.
That shouldn't have been a touchdown?
Well, it's commonly used. It's universal in football now.
Yeah, you're right.
It was a great game, by the way.
Worked for them. 31-3. Well, with McFarland out of the ball game, this is Leak again. Leak run out of bounds after a gain of 1. Leak, a 6-foot sophomore from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Having to get into that depth, we talked about this Maryland team having a very deep running back room. They're already down Ty Johnson. Their stud redshirt freshman Anthony McFarland has been taken in for further evaluation, and Javon Leak, another one of those talented running backs that Matt Canada was talking with us about earlier this week. Let's get his pads down some. I noticed on tape he runs a little bit upright.
On 2nd and 8. Pigram fires, and nobody home at the other end. Jacobs, the intended receiver. It'll be 3rd and long for Maryland. They haven't scored a touchdown in the last 9+ quarters against Penn State. Nittany Lions pitching a shutout against these guys going back to 2016, the first half of that game.
Impressive there by Brent Pry, defensive coordinator at Penn State. Was it fun to talk to a few weeks ago when we were here, man? He's full of life and energy. Got this defense playing at a high level.
Very itinerant. Coached in various places. Pass complete over the middle. That's Demas, and Demas right at that first down marker. You know, Coach Pry was telling us that his lovely bride is from the Louisiana area, and you know, missing that Cajun, that wonderfully unique culinary delight Cajun food, and he has it shipped up from Louisiana to State College, PA.
He shouldn't have to have it shipped up. His wife lives here with him. She should be able to cook it up at his place, man.
Well, you can't have her doing it all the time.
Well,
you know what I mean.
I'm just saying.
That's just not fair.
Well, I bet she's got some good Creole recipes she can.
Oh, no doubt. He was
she can throw together for
speaking
Coach.
wonderfully about her ability in the kitchen. The key is to be able to intercept one of those packages coming up from New Orleans on the run. Leak could not outrun Micah Parsons, the true freshman. That's a guy that the coaches, including Coach Pry, speak very highly of. Former running back and defensive end in high school.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to talk about. This guy can flat out run. 6'3", 240. Watch him come downhill and make this tackle in the open space. And he's a guy who's just gotten better and better and better. An instinctive football player who's got a bright future here at Penn State. Really enjoy watching him these last few weeks popping the tape up.
2nd and 12. Pigram. Pass a little bit hot in and out of the hands of Jacobs. And it'll be 3rd and long. Well, you can't fault the effort, the concentration, the dedication of this Maryland team. With 10 minutes to go now, seemingly, inevitably, they won't get that 6th win. But when you've experienced the crushing and indelible mortality of a teammate, and to be able to dedicate every game, every moment to him, and to win 5 games, that is a huge accomplishment. A lot of the credit going to the players. Out of the backfield, this is Leak. And I said it earlier, Matt Canada, the interim head coach, every time you try and ask Coach Canada about his potential for becoming the next head coach at Maryland, or how they've been able to be as successful as they have in light of the tragic circumstances, he said each and every time, and he means it, there's an authenticity to his answers when he says, these kids have been great. It's all about them.
He deflects any and all attention. He wants none of it. He won't have it. He praises his coaching staff, really praises his players for sticking together, for the focus that they've had, for everyone leaning on each other and coming together in such a trying time. I think it's extremely commendable. And as I mentioned earlier, I think he's at the very least earned and deserves a legit shot at being the next head coach here at Maryland.
And the ubiquity of number 79 remains with them.
College football on ABC is presented by Jared. Dare to be devoted. In part by Pacific Life. Experience the power of Pacific. And Nissan. Innovation that excites.
So many talented and dedicated people, folks, behind the cameras that you never get a chance to see. Part of our J crew that has brought college football into your homes from September and now until late November. Slade on the carry, and just want to say thank you to everybody that has made this year so much fun.
Blowing kisses to you, Jonesy.
Yeah, Jared staying dry.
Over. Unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 30, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Little man Dutchy
That's
out
number
there.
30's first unsportsmanlike foul of the game.
And braving the elements today, all of our guys, as well as Molly McGrath, Barons, one of our camera guys. I don't know if he liked what happened in Columbus, Ohio today, but
yeah, he's a little down today.
We really do. We've got a fantastic crew, and it all starts with our leader Kim Belton back in the truck, and Steve Turnberger. It's been a fantastic year. It's been a lot of fun, and it always makes it fun when you work with great and good people.
Tommy Stevens in a quarterback from midfield, 1st and 10. Stevens going to keep it, and he picks up 9 on the play. Tommy Stevens, actually that was McSorley. McSorley is out. Stevens in the game. There's McSorley getting dapped up on the sidelines. His afternoon, his evening probably over. And with a potential bowl game, he'll probably break the rushing record held by Michael Robinson. This is Slade running it, picking up 3 yards.
By the way, we showed that graphic several times. Michael Robinson was my teammate in the Senior Bowl.
Whoa, okay.
Back in the day. Great dude, man. And he had a heck of an NFL career, too. I kept seeing that. You know, he was a running back, fullback in the pros.
Big dude, yeah.
He was a great guy. At the Senior Bowl, as far as all the people I met, I don't know if anybody put a smile on my face on a daily basis quite like him. He was awesome. So, Tommy Stevens, I find this very intriguing. I think that a lot of people around here, he's the go-to guy next year.
Pretty tall and good arm, finds his target. KJ Handler, who will be around next year, running with audacious impulse inside the 20 and picks up another first down.
Most of these weapons you're seeing out here, they'll be back. Miles Sanders, a junior. Ricky Slade run the ball, a true freshman. You see Trace McSorley talking with all of his coaches and teammates. After another victory here in Beaver Stadium, 31st victory as a starting quarterback at Penn State. He continues to add to his record.
Over 500 yards of offense. On 1st and 10, Stevens hands and actually keeps it. Great sleight of hand. And Stevens hit. Brought down just shy of the end zone at the 1-yard line. He got stuck, but picked up 18. 1st and goal.
Love the decision making here by Tommy Stevens. Watch how he sees when it opens up, and he's just going to take it. Right, he sees it right there, and then utilizes athleticism in his big frame as he fights for the end zone.
Yeah, great wheels. This time decides to hand it off. On 1st and goal, Ricky Slade stopped up at the 1. Clock running with 6.5 minutes to go.
Big quarterback at 6'5", 240, can throw it. Obviously, he's got that physical running nature, which has been much needed this year with Trace McSorley. It'll be fun to watch him next year run this offense.
Ricky Slade, touchdown, Penn State. That's his second of the day.
This offensive line, man, they've really done a nice job imposing their will, allowing whoever it is running the football, Miles Sanders, Ricky Slade, we've seen Trace McSorley, we've seen Tommy Stevens, doesn't matter who, big holes have been abound throughout the day for this Penn State offense.
With 6:13 to go. Nittany Lions lead it 38-3, and I'll tell you what, they got some pretty good sideline celebrations here at Penn State. Wait for it. Which way? That way.
ESPN, home of the college football playoff.
When you know it's that final moment, that final game, that final time, you start to appreciate things a little bit more and start taking a little bit more inventory on the sidelines. Loomis out and on the return as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. It has been all Nittany Lions from the opening drive of the ball game. McSorley with a couple of rushing touchdowns. This one was his second, and they never looked back. Their defense surrendering just 3 points in the game with 6:07 to play, and 13 tackles for loss.
They just dominated the line of scrimmage today. Run for 308 yards as an offense.
Yes.
McSorley over 220 passing, and they just balance on offense and defensively just completely taking away Maryland's ability to run the football effectively.
That was Leak out to the 20-yard line. McSorley's got some pretty good targets he's been throwing the ball to, and you know, I would be remiss if I didn't mention one of the all-time greats at Penn State, a guy that I've done some work with in the past, O.J. McDuffie, who had some great years, and his name still abundant in the record books here at Penn State. And I'm going to name drop because he's my neighbor in Miami.
Okay, hey, okay. Feel free. Absolutely.
Just because, Dusty.
Fantastic former Penn State Nittany Lion.
Fleet Davis out near the first down, stopped up about 2 yards shy of that first down. And tonight after Utah State, Fresno State on ESPN, Michael Eaves, Kevin Connors doing it for you. They'll have reactions from the 115th meeting between Ohio State, Michigan, plus how the Iron Bowl ended. Heather Dinich breaking down the college football playoff scenario. Sports Center right after college football on ESPN, anywhere on the ESPN app.
You want a name drop on you?
Go ahead, man. Give it to me.
Anthony Spice Adams.
Okay.
Former defensive tackle here, second-round pick. Was one of my teammates for several years in Chicago.
Nice.
One of the best dudes you ever come across, and a really good football player, working for Big Ten Network, covering college football.
3rd down and 2. Pigram. Demas on the reception. I'm going to name drop and go back to the studio. Okay. Yeah. Hey, I know Matt Berry intimately, okay? I know Matt. That's my man. I just threw, that's my name drop.
Well done.
Another.
Close game there. UCLA Stanford.
Yes. 4 minutes to go. And Pigram runs out of bounds at about the 42-yard line. Now, I didn't mean to throw shade at the Big 12 when we were talking about the high-scoring game there that we saw yesterday as compared to, well, at least Penn State having a good day defensively. But tell you what, that Ohio State game really sticks with me in terms of when we look back at this weekend of college football, the amount of points that a defense that many thought in Michigan might be the best in the country.
They've
right?
been fantastic.
You called it that.
They've been fantastic all year, and Ohio State just got them. I mean, I think it speaks to the complexity of offenses, how smart these offensive coordinators are getting, the rules that help aid offenses, and well, let's face it, it's tough to play good quality defense. And today's, we saw Monday
Is it about the rules?
We saw Monday Night Football last Monday. What was that game in the 50s, right? I mean, so
highest scoring Monday Night Football game ever.
It's not just in college, it's also in the National Football League, but also at the same time, I mean, there's some bad habits that go around on defense in college football. I mean, the tackling is poor. Let's just face it. Hasn't been necessarily for Penn State today, but when you look across college football, tackling isn't at the premium today that it once was, and plus you're tackling out in space instead of in confined space like it traditionally has been in a phone booth.
3rd and long. Well, scoring up across the board in NFL, college football,
their first time
NBA, and college basketball. So I don't know why you want to. Don't let your son play defense in any sport, Dusty. Back after this. And welcome back, everyone. 38-3. Penn State about to improve to 9-3 on the season on senior night. And Maryland about to come up 1 game short of qualifying for a bowl game. Third and 13 for the Terps. As the time winds down in a season that really was like no other for the Terrapins. The pass incomplete to Brian Cobbs.
Pass off target, too high for his receiver, Brian Cobbs. Another one of those true freshman wide receivers for this Maryland football team. They're going to be forced to punt once again. They have not found any rhythm offensively today. Running it, throwing it. It's been a struggle for most of the day for this Maryland offense.
You almost get the feeling, partner, that after 2 close calls against Indiana and last week against Ohio State, that the tank might be a little bit empty for Maryland through no fault of their own. As this punt will dribble out of bounds at the second, spotted at the 8. Well, as we honor those who serve, brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Penn State senior cornerback Amani Oruwariye, his mom, Karen, is a military veteran, serving 15 years in the Navy. On Penn State's Military Appreciation Day back October 27th, Amani led the team onto the field carrying his mother's American flag, and we're also here on Senior Day.
Thank you for your service, Karen. It's much appreciated to you and all of our military. And Amani Oruwariye, Had a nice game today. A couple of tackles early on behind the line of scrimmage.
He too will be playing in the Senior Bowl.
He's got NFL length. 6'1", 205, physical cornerback. A good opportunity for him against some talented wide receivers to show his coverage skills down in Mobile. That's a fun week. Fun, yet also stressful week.
Oh, really?
A lot of eyeballs on you down there.
A lot of poking and prodding going on.
Chance to make some money, though.
Yeah. And he put some money on tape today with his performance. Nice tackle. Jonathan Thomas on the run. What do you remember most about your Senior Bowl?
Oh, what I remember most about my Senior Bowl.
How nervous were you?
Oh, my goodness. I remember my defensive line coach after the first day of practice. Had a good practice. Feeling good about myself, right? Just get in the first guy to watch tape because I want to see it on tape. And he said, Coach asked me, D-line coach said, "Do you know what $1 million feels like?" I was like, "No, man." He's like, "Well, you're about to after the way you practice." Feeling good, right?
Wow.
That next day,
yeah. I
come in after getting my butt whooped in practice and said, "Hey, Dusty, remember that $1 million I told you about yesterday?" He said, "Yeah, forget about it. You lost that and some with the way you practiced yesterday."
He asked you, "Do you know what chump change feels like?"
Kind of a.
There are two players on the offense wearing number 82. That's a 5-yard penalty against the offense. It's still third down.
Yeah, you bounced back, though. You bounced back. Did you go up against the wrong guy? Was that it in practice?
I was actually going against Nick Mangold every day, former Ohio State center.
Man, why are you lining up next to him?
Got him one day, didn't get him the next. What I think
it was that easy, huh?
What it speaks to, though, is the competition on a daily basis there in Mobile. And you better bring it every single day. And you do have opportunities, but you have opportunities to make money, and you got opportunities to lose money. But it's the competition, the camaraderie, the guys you get to meet, and just that opportunity, man, it's really cool. I was very happy to accept my invitation and excited for Oruwariye and Trace McSorley. It'll be fun to watch them down in Mobile.
Clock running with 1:35 to go. Maryland will finish up 5-7 on the season. But at no time did this team quit, folks. They commemorated and honored the memory of Jordan McNair each and every time they took to the field. This is a team that has showed incredible resolve and temerity each and every time they stepped onto the practice field, went into meeting rooms, and stepped onto the field on Saturday nights and Saturday afternoons. They vowed that they would play for him, and they've done just that.
Closeness, togetherness. I mean, it's just been such a trying and tough situation, and I give all these young men and Matt Canada a lot of credit for continuing to stay focused, fight for their fallen teammate, and make this season all about him, to never forget the memory of Jordan McNair.
They have brought his jersey and set up a locker for him in each of the visiting locker rooms on the road, and maintained his locker at home at the University of Maryland. So many different ways that different players dealt with the grieving process, and Coach Canada has said publicly that there was no wrong way, that they learned a lot in the process of being able to go through it together. Dessou in the ball game and carrying the ball in for Pigram now. This is a sport that teaches us a lot, Dusty, in life and in death. And on the opposite sides of the field, you can claim victory, really, in so many different ways for both Penn State and Maryland. On the scoreboard, Coach Franklin's team wins it today. Maryland also a winner, though, as they put a period on their season today. Penn State wins it 38-3.